Chapter 2. April's thoughts were spinning out of control while she mucked out stalls. The rain was pounding on the roof and the horses were staying in for the day, making the task much more difficult as she had to move horses around as she went. Anya was working in the other barn, so she was alone for the moment. She knew she'd have help soon, but she was almost afraid to, knowing it would be Blake. The two had been secretly dating for 2 months, and she was thrilled with how things were going. The phone call she'd received that morning might just ruin everything. "Hey, gorgeous," Blake greeted as he came up behind her. She turned, pitchfork still in hand, and wrapped her free arm around his neck while he held and kissed her. A thrill went through her at his touch, and she flinched inwardly, knowing she would have to come clean and hating the idea that he might just break up with her over what she was going to tell him. She sighed and pulled back, raising her troubled green eyes to meet his smoky blue-green ones. "What's wrong, April?" Blake asked her knowingly, running a hand through her long, silky black hair. "I need to ask you a favor, and you're not going to like it." "What is it?" "I need you to pretend to be my husband." There were a few moments of shocked silence, and Blake's hand froze in her hair. "Why?" he finally managed to choke out. "Well, a few years ago, my parents were really putting pressure on me to settle down and get married, raise a family, all that. I wasn't ready to even start looking for a relationship, so I told them I was involved with someone just to get them off my back," she explained in a rush. Blake was appalled. "They were putting pressure on you to settle down while you were still in your teens?" She nodded and shrugged. "I'm an only child, and they want grandchildren to spoil. Well, anyway, a few weeks ago, they started putting pressure on me again, wanting to meet a man and all that. I told them I would be unavailable for a few months since I was going on my honeymoon and would be busy finding a place to live." She held her breath while she waited for his response. "Let me get this straight. You want me to what? Lie to your parents? Pretend I'm more than just your boyfriend?" "Yes." "No," he replied adamantly. "If you want to introduce me to your parents, fine, I'll meet them, but not under false pretenses. You'll have to tell them the truth," he told her, his eyes stormy. April was ashamed, and she felt the color creeping up her neck to stain her face red. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice wavering as tears filled her eyes. "I should never have asked such a thing of you." "It's not the asking that troubles me, April, it's the lying. I can't understand why you would feel the need to give in to that kind of pressure." "You'll understand when you meet them," she promised. He nodded. "Come on, we've got work to do." He stepped back, and they silently got to work. They worked well together, practiced and seamless, as they moved horses, cleaned stalls, dumped manure, and replaced the dirty shavings with new. While April mucked out the last stall, Blake wheeled hay down the aisle and distributed it to the horses before hauling out the hose and filling the buckets. He looked at them critically and knew they would need to be scrubbed out soon. The work done and his stomach growling for food, he wound up the hose and called for April. She hurried back to him, shutting off the lights as she went, and they ran through the rain up to the house together, both looking forward to what Sean had cooked up for lunch. "It's getting ugly out there," Blake said as he plunked himself down on a bench. He ran a hand through his wet black hair and wiped his hand on his jeans. "Go wash up, Blake, and stop dripping water all over the place," Anya told him, having seen his actions from where she sat with Sam on the opposite side of the table. It was already set and waiting for Sean to deliver the pot of thick beef stew he'd cooked up. Warm biscuits were already on the table and disappearing at a rapid rate as the hungry workers devoured them. "Hey, Anya, can I talk to you for a minute?" April asked once Blake was gone. "Yeah, of course. What's up?" April bit her lip. Privately?" Anya rose and led April to the empty living room. "What's going on, April?" she asked, cocking her head. "Well, my parents would like to visit, and I don't have enough room at my apartment for them, so I was hoping they could stay here. You can take whatever it'll cost out of my pay," she assured. Anya smiled. "That's not a problem, April. Of course your family's welcome to stay here free of charge. You know you're like family to us," she told her. April was normally outgoing and bubbly, but occasionally Anya caught glimpses of shyness and insecurity, almost as though the girl couldn't trust that someone would care about her for who she was. April nearly sagged in relief. "Oh, thank you so much. That's such a relief." Anya gave her a brief hug. "Come on, I'm starving. That stew had better be ready by now." She went straight back to the kitchen, April in her wake, and sat at the table, her mind on other things, financial things. They'd have to be careful for a while, and circumstances seemed to be working against them. There were things they needed to do, people they needed to help, and she worried that she wouldn't be able to do those things without the consistency of Tori's paycheck. She shook her head to herself, annoyed that she would let something as insignificant as money get in the way of her faith. God would provide. No matter how things could appear to the opposite, God would always make sure there was a way for her to keep going. It was after dinner a few days later. Anya and Tori sat on the porch swing and rocked gently as they listened to the rain beat on the roof. It was November, and rain was a near-constant companion, soaking the ground and filling the streams and ponds to overflowing. Tori hoped it would freeze soon so they could ride out to the pond and go skating, her favorite winter pastime. Still feeling good about your decision? Anya asked curiously. She knew that Tori had agonized over it all weekend, and, now that it was done, she wondered if Tori had any regrets. I thought it would be more difficult, or that I would be panicked now that I can't take it back. But instead, I'm really looking forward to doing more around here. She took a deep breath. I also need to get my own horse. Anya frowned. We have plenty of horses. Tori sighed, but she had known that was how Anya would respond. I know we do, but it's different to me. I want my own, just mine. So pick one. Tori laughed her frustration. It was either laugh or cry, and she had always preferred humor over tears. When Jonathan, did what he did to Galaxy, I never thought I'd want to replace him or get a new horse to fill the gap he left in my heart. But now I do. Anya's eyes softened as understanding dawned. Jonathan had taken so much from them that summer. A hired hand, he'd been disliked but tolerated by them all until he lost his mind and attacked their previous foreman with a shovel, nearly killing him. He'd vanished for a while, only to return to kidnap Anya and take Tori's old gelding, Galaxy. Jonathan had beaten the horse, then killed it to get back at Tori for confronting him on his poor job performance. The man had been arrested for attempted murder and kidnapping and had been sentenced to life in prison. As far as they were concerned, life was too good for the likes of that maniac. Tori, do what you have to do. You know that you have as much a right to add a new horse to this ranch as I do, don't you? Anya asked gently. Tori sighed. I know that you think I do. Tori, this farm belongs to both of us, as equals. We talk to each other about what we want, and we do it together as partners. You want a horse, and we have space and can afford it right now, so go get one. You're awesome, you know that, right? Anya grinned. But of course. They sat in silence for a time, lost in their own thoughts. Hey, Tori? Yeah? I have a cousin. Tori frowned. Since when? Anya shrugged. We were never close, probably because my dad never really got along with his brother. So what's that got to do with anything now? Apparently, my uncle died from a massive stroke, and my cousin is now an orphan. Her mom died during childbirth, she explained. Tori just nodded and waited for Anya to continue. I'd like to invite her to move here with us, if that's okay with you. She's only 18, and I'm the only family she's got left. There's no question, Anya. Of course she's welcome here, Tori exclaimed. Well, it's going to get a little crowded with April's parents staying as well. I didn't ask how long they'd be here, Anya warned. Tori laughed. You're the antisocial one, she pointed out. I'm happy to have a house full. Anya inclined her head, conceding the point. We're definitely going to have to buy some furniture, as long as we stay on budget. Was my quitting really okay? Tori asked, doubt flickering through her once again. She knew how much money they had in the bank, how much was coming in, but it wouldn't necessarily stay that way, and they were already planning to add a few more horses and more people to their already significant financial load. We'll be fine, Tori, I promise. She couldn't know what form fine would be in, but she trusted God and had faith that no matter what happened, he would see them through.